Many of us who live down here at sea level love to travel to the mountains, to visit the heights, to enjoy a vantage point. I remember one hike that Jeff and I took in North Carolina in the Smoky Mountains. It was a day hike, about 13 miles, and we went up a steep trail and then along a ridge that ran along the Appalachian Trail for about 3 miles, and then down back a steep trail. While we were on the top, we came to the summit of a small mountain. It was low enough altitude that the top was like a pasture filled with yellow flowers. And I remember that feeling of being on that high place, the topness of it. And perhaps it was so memorable for me because even though it wasn't the highest place I'd ever stood, I had come there on foot. I also remember that the way down was a lot harder on my legs than the way up. Ever had that experience? Take a moment with me to imagine the very different vantage points of our day that day. When we began, we were 5 winding switchback miles from the top, down in a wooded cluster of hills where it was difficult to see anything beyond the trees, beyond those hills. But when we came to the top of the ridge and to that yellow flowered clearing, then we could see in every direction. It feels this way to me in life sometimes, that when we are hurting, when things are hard, when the load is heavy, it is hard to imagine what the good thing feels like. It is hard to picture the relief. It is hard to see a way through. When we are in the valley, we can't see what is past this particular low place. We find ourselves with a failure of imagination because the high place seems unreal, impossible, and we have forgotten how it feels to rest secure. We might ask ourselves, when we are in one of those low places, can anything ever change? In the midst of personal struggle or communal challenge, when the work of love and the work of justice seem so steep, it can feel that nothing will ever change. And yet, into this distress, we hear the words of Isaiah calling out to his exiled people and calling out to us. Do not remember the former things or consider the things of old. Forget them. I'm going to make you talk this morning. Ready? Say it with me. Forget them. Okay? Say it with me. Forget them. Do not remember. And then Isaiah continues, I am about to do a new thing now. It springs forth. Do you see it? Say with me, I see it. I see it. I see it. I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I will make a way where there seems to be no way. So last one, say with me, God will make a way. God will make a way. This kind of hope, this exemplary hope, is why the man with a visual impairment would not listen when they told him to be quiet. When they tried to stifle him from calling out to Jesus for mercy, he would not stop calling out because he believed that something could be done. Because surrounded by people with physical vision, he alone had spiritual vision. He could see and imagine the vantage point even when he was down below. The situation is quite telling if we look closely at the scripture in verse 39. If you have it close by, look at it. Who was it that sternly ordered this passionate man to be quiet? Those who were in front. Those who were in front. The Greek word is proagontes, those going ahead of him. They were in front. I think they felt he should wait his turn. I think perhaps they felt that their chances to approach Jesus were diminished by this man taking the spotlight. Yet Jesus heard the man, and he told them to bring him near. And Jesus asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" I think our assumption is that we would know right away what that man wanted, that of course he would want for his vision to be restored. But Jesus, never quite predictable, didn't assume that. Jesus gave the man the power and the voice to choose. Jesus lifted him up simply in recognizing that he was a person who would know for himself what he needed. We who are helpers of people are wise to remember this model Jesus gives us. And when Jesus healed this radically hopeful man, he again elevated him, saying that it was the man's faith that saved him. All this took place not long before the crucifixion, as Jesus and his followers made their way to Jerusalem. And just before meeting this man, Jesus had pulled the 12 aside to tell them about the suffering he saw on the horizon for himself. When we think of the dehumanizing treatment of Jesus at the hands of the government, we are reminded of the power of the incarnation. None of us is alone, for Jesus knows what it is to be mocked and insulted, degraded. And when we say that God was made human in him, then we are saying that, yes, even God, who cannot be measured, understands our deepest heartbreak. God understands down with us in the crevices, and so can foster up within us that spiritual imagination of a vantage point, of a way through, of a new thing. So where are you today? Are you in the desert looking for a river? Are you shouting for mercy by a roadside? Or are you even before that point not quite sure about looking or asking? If it was you standing before Jesus and he asked you the question, "What do you want me to do for you?" what would you answer? Perhaps the first half of the gift is just being asked this question. What do you want Jesus to do for you? What do you hope will come to pass? This question unearths in me my need and my vision both, because I have 1,000 answers. Stay here today in this crucible, this confluence in which your sacred longing is met by God's incarnational and empathetic springing forth, in which Jesus asks this question of you and enlivens your sacred imagination, granting you the possibility of seeing hope. What do you want me to do for you? Amen.